And joining me now is former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, who is also author of the new novel Treason. Speaker, thank you for being here tonight. You were sitting there listening to the president-elect's words in Iowa. What struck you about his speech just now?
Well, part of it is the very calm delivery. If you watch, he has an almost soft tone now. He's reassuring people, going back over ground, maybe making it a little broader, a little clearer. Plus, things like introducing his new ambassador to Beijing, who turns out to be a close personal friend of the Chinese Prime Minister, a relationship that goes back to the Chinese Prime Minister having come and spent time in Iowa. So it's more than just trade deals and Iowa agriculture, but Terry Branstad's going to be a remarkable spokesperson. And of course, Branstad is the longest serving governor in the history of the United States. So he has an enormous level of talent, and Iowans have loved him, and I think he's going to be very effective. I think you're seeing Trump, flesh out this cabinet and his key team with very, very competent, very successful people.
And it did seem like he was branching out. They're calling this his thank you tour. But there at the end, you heard him say, join this movement, believe in America. Perhaps in addition to it being a thank you tour, it is reaching out to even those that did not support him or did not vote for him.
Yeah, I think that President-elect Trump believes that he can add 20 or 25% of the country to the base he already has, that as they get to know him, as they see what he's trying to do, that there will be a great deal of people saying, this guy really is trying to make America great again, and he really is trying to make my life better. And I think that's why I think he believes it has to be a movement. He knows it can't be him by himself, and he's talked fairly often for the last 6 months about the idea that this is a movement, and that's what he really wants. I mean, Trumpism is more than Donald Trump. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of approaching problems. And I think that he is the beginning of a very new and very different chapter in American history.
But perhaps, Speaker, we are seeing the beginning of what could be a very big fight with one of his more recent nominations, sure. Scott Pruitt, the Oklahoma Attorney General, as the head of the EPA. You just heard some of the criticism there, but Nancy Pelosi is saying this nomination must be blocked for the sake of the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the planet we will leave our children. Democrats are in an uproar over
sure.
his nominating Pruitt.
This is a great shock to the Democrats. It turns out Donald Trump's actually a conservative. He actually believes in the things he campaigned on. He's actually going to do the things he promised to do. And for some left-wing Democrats, it's going to drive them nuts. Nancy Pelosi being a good example. If you spend your life in San Francisco, surrounded by San Francisco liberals, you're appropriately horrified by Donald J. Trump because he ain't you. But that's why he won. Millions of people came out to vote. And as Trump was saying tonight, people registered. I ran into a 90-year-old woman in Georgia who had never voted, who registered to vote for Trump. And I think that the left doesn't realize there was a big block of folks who want to send a signal to the left. We don't agree. Notice, when he said we're going to get the EPA out of your life, there was spontaneous applause in Iowa because farmers have seen the EPA as a major problem and a major headache for them just running their family farms.
There was obviously a strategy there to meet with Al Gore and Leonardo DiCaprio and then announce Scott Pruitt as the head of the EPA. But our own Chris Direwalt, Speaker, I wanted to run this by you. He's saying that he poses an interesting case in his bid to get the 51 votes needed for confirmation. Not every Republican may feel comfortable voting for him. Do you see that happening? Is there going to be a big fight there?
There could be. I think you have to look and see. On the other hand, there's some Democrats who may decide to vote for him. I think Senator Manchin may end up deciding to vote for him. I also think that he's a very talented person. He's a very good Attorney General of Oklahoma. He's very respected among attorneys general. And I think that as people get to know him, as he makes his case, it is nonsense to suggest that opposing EPA regulations that are stupid means you're for dirty air or you're for dirty water. We can have very clean air and very clean water and still have a limited, rational government in Washington.
And he reiterated, the president-elect reiterated that campaign promise tonight. We heard that from him on the trail, and we heard it again tonight. Speaker Gingrich, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Good to be with you.